I bleed silver and black, and I wear it with pride. Hold my shield to the sky. I'm a raider for life. 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 I'm a raider for life.
Touchdown, Raiders! What's good, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Mikey Raider, coming to you with another video on this blessed day of life. Let's talk about Derek Carr. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Not in this video. In this video, we're going to talk about Josh Jacobs, my favorite player that has been drafted in the past 5 years. You guys saw me on camera screaming and yelling drunk, "We got Josh Jacobs! We got Josh!" I love, and am proud to have Josh Jacobs on this team. Well, going into this last season, Josh McDumbass tested Josh Jacobs in a preseason Hall of Fame game because he didn't know what he was working with. So there was possible shades of sabotage with Josh Jacobs. But Josh Jacobs balled out in any circumstance. And it is a contract year for Josh Jacobs. They do have the option to franchise tag him. We'll get into that a little bit more. But it was a franchise year. It was basically a contract year for Josh Jacobs to either become a free agent, get a lot of money with the franchise tag, or, get a big contract from the Raiders. He balled out, was the rushing leader, I believe, of the entire season. But now it's the offseason. All the turmoil that happened for the Raiders, Josh Jacobs was also a part of it. He witnessed it, whether it be on Derek Carr, Josh McDaniels, the players at times, Darren Waller, or not having the right coaches, coach the right defensive schemes, or offensive schemes. Whatever the problems were, there was a lot of them. Josh Jacobs was not one of them. He had a heck of a season, statistically. But mentally, he was tested every which way. And he balled out. So, Raiders, basically, we all think they don't have a decision to make. Sign Josh Jacobs, give him the money he deserves, pay that man his money. But that's not the case. Josh McDaniels is a Patriot. He brought along the Patriot way. He brought in all these running backs in the draft last year. He brought in all former Patriots. Then he tested Josh Jacobs in the Hall of Fame game. And then he drove Josh Jacobs into the ground. Even when Josh Jacobs got injured, he was still running him 20, 30 times a game. That's because, let's be honest, I believe in the back of McDaniels' mind, he's okay with Josh Jacobs not becoming on the team anymore or becoming a free agent. And I don't mean this the way it's going to sound, but it's just, he's like, well, we got other running backs in case something happens to Jacobs, But Josh Jacobs is making McDaniels make a hard decision that I don't think McDaniels and the team was going to make before the season started. But they also knew that they had franchise tag in their back pocket in case of what Josh Jacobs did. They can franchise tag Josh Jacobs. Now, Josh Jacobs has been speaking during the Pro Bowl and other occasions and putting out Twitters and tweets and Instagrams where saying it's got to make sense for me, meaning a new contract, an offer, whatever. It's got to make sense for Josh Jacobs. He's also stated it ain't about the money. In other Twitters or tweets, he said it's not about the money. It's about being in a good place where they can, see my skills and we can win. Then just recently, he did a Pro Bowl interview where he said the Raiders have not disrespected him just yet. Well, are they in contract negotiations with Josh Jacobs at this moment? I don't think so. Because any offer, any first offer is going to be a low ball offer. Hence, that would be disrespect to Josh Jacobs. So he said, they haven't disrespected me just yet because they haven't given you an offer. And he's also speaking to the fact of the franchise tag that's possibly in their back pocket. And that would be disrespect for Josh Jacobs. So if they get a lowball offer to Josh Jacobs that doesn't make sense to him, he'll consider it disrespect. And they haven't disrespected him just yet. Hence, they haven't given him a contract offer. Because the first one will always be the lowball. Then you work from there. So if they haven't disrespected him yet, they haven't given him an offer. Then the disrespect may come in the franchise tag. During the start of the season, I think we're about 3-4 weeks away from all the tags being assigned, maybe in early March. So we got some time to talk about it. I think Josh Jacobs was asked, would he sign the franchise tag or whatever to come back to a team? And I believe he said yes. I think there is an interview probably on one of the other channels where he said yes, he would. As long as the pieces around him are what he thinks or is good for the team. Again, that bar's on Devontae Adams, who the quarterback's going to be, this and that. I mean, if you're Josh Jacobs, he said he wants to be a Raider for life. I believe he said that as well. So that's good. That's looking good for the Raiders. And he hasn't spoken about McDaniels that much. So he kind of likes what McDaniels is doing, I guess. Maybe he doesn't like his antics all the time, but McDaniels used him a lot. He became the leading rusher, so he's going to get paid somehow. So of course he's going to like McDaniels. Of course you're going to like him. That's a coach that used you and milked you so you can get paid for your family. Because let's be honest, NFL players, their second contract, after their rookie ones, even after franchise taggage or whatever, those are like their most lucrative contracts, for their history. Not many players go to a third contract. Maybe quarterbacks do, but like not many running backs go to like a third, 3-4 year deal contract and get a lot of money. Plus the running back position doesn't get paid a lot as well. So what will Josh Jacobs covet? I mean, I can do speculation all day. If I was Josh McDaniels, I would sign him immediately. Of course, I would not franchise tag him. Again, it all depends on what the Raiders have and cap-wise, who their quarterback's going to be, this and that. But I would offer Josh Jacobs a 4-year deal for probably $12 million apiece, with probably like 35 guaranteed. It might sound like a lot. I'm trying to do the math in my head. It's like a $55 million deal for 4 years, something like that, and then like $30 million guaranteed. Did I say 35? I might have said 35. But somewhere around that range, okay? On the free agent or the franchise tag, if he gets franchised, I think he's going to get somewhere between 10 and 14 million. That's probably the range for 1 year, and the money's not guaranteed. So we're going to see what happens. I honestly want to know your guys' opinion. But I'm going to be honest with you guys, with the ineptitude with Josh McDaniels, Dave Ziegler, and everybody else, and even Josh Jacobs saying they haven't disrespected me just yet, I think they're going to franchise tag him. We got a lot of running backs on the roster, and I think Josh McDaniels and the team really don't want to give him a long-term deal. They don't really care about giving him a long-term deal because running backs to them are a dime a dozen. Plus they drafted others, or they got their Patriot players or whatever. And, I mean, they care about Jacobs, but he's like on a 1-year deal in their mind. And the ineptitude by what they've been doing contractually for players like Derek Carr, releasing him, not understanding how it's going to play out, just really bad decision-making. So I see the Raiders franchise tagging Josh Jacobs. I don't think they're going to get a long-term deal done. And then I see Josh Jacobs holding out. Possibly. If they franchise tag him, I see Josh Jacobs holding out for a long-term deal. And I don't even know if the Raiders are going to give them one or one that makes sense for him. I mean, it's a very fascinating situation, and it just boggles my mind that Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler would go out basically and try to test Derek Carr, but give him a contract, and then not do the same thing for Josh Jacobs. If you gave Derek Carr a so-called extension because you were testing him out also to get Devontae Adams to come to the team, you knew that Josh Jacobs was on his final year, and if you believed in Josh Jacobs, which we all clearly know he did not, hence why he played him in the Hall of Fame game, and he ran him into the ground this year, even when he got injured. Remember when he hurt his thumb or his pinky or whatever it was? He went out for one play, then he comes back into the game with a broken, fractured pinky or thumb or whatever it was, and then they do a play call where he has to catch the ball and throw it with his broken finger. That shows you exactly how much Josh McDaniels cares about Josh Jacobs and even about his injury. He was testing out his injury. Let's be honest, Josh Jacobs is a man among boys, and he balls out, he plays his heart out, and he always plays hurt and even injured. But, so you would think it's an easy decision. Sign Josh Jacobs long term. But if they want to, carry him over for 1 year and run him into the ground for another year like Josh McDaniels did, they're going to franchise tag him. And that'll piss off Josh Jacobs because he knows what's coming. He knows that he doesn't get a lot of guaranteed money for his future, even though he said money's not the case. And he knows Josh McDaniels is going to run him into the ground, and he'll hopefully not get injured again. You guys let me know your thoughts. But I'm going to be honest with you. My final results and my final thoughts are they're going to franchise tag him. They're not going to get a contract done. They're going to franchise tag him. And Josh Jacobs is going to hold out. I don't know the end result. We'll talk about that on another video. Please go ahead. Think about becoming a member. Supporting your boy. $3 a month. You'll get exclusive content. You can be live on a Raiders Roundtable with me on future episodes during the weekends when I go live and have a Raiders Roundtable. If you're a member, the link to join the Raiders Roundtable live on video will be for the members only page, but you're also going to get exclusive content. Please hit that subscribe button. Consider becoming a member. And if you like what you're watching now, please hit that thanks button and support me. I'm trying to make a living out of this. This is all I got. You guys are all I got. And I love you, and I thank you for understanding. Josh Jacobs, man, tough situation. Josh Dumbass and Dave Ziegler have been putting this entire team through and this entire fan base. That is why I'm really hurting. But some positivity ahead. Hopefully a rookie quarterback. And we'll talk about that more in a future video.